What's up, IST family? Today I wanted to teach you guys how to cook a better chicken breast. If we cook chicken breast the right way, it should turn out flavorful and juicy. Sometimes it gets a bad rap and it turns out dry, flavorless, and super sad, but it's a great high quality source of protein and we can make it very tasty and very delicious. I wouldn't call this a recipe, I'd call it more of a technique, and I just want to kind of show you a few different things to enhance that chicken's flavor. We're going to need a few things for this. We're going to need a pan. I prefer a cast iron. You could also use a stainless steel or something else that is oven safe and also safe to handle higher heats. We are going to be doing some searing on this pan. Teflon or something like that might break down, although we're not sure on that yet. You're also going to need a mallet. This is optional. You could use your pan as a mallet. I'll show you that later. And we're going to use salt, kosher salt, and fresh black pepper, which will be freshly ground later as well. I like olive oil for this recipe. Any brand is probably fine. And then some other things, we're going to use a couple sheets of paper towel, and most important part, our chicken breasts. In terms of selecting your chicken at the grocery store, I would look for a chicken that is not huge, swelling, and massive. When you're buying chicken, I think each chicken breast should be about 4 to 8 ounces per chicken breast. So if you have 2 in your package, it shouldn't weigh much more than 1 pound. If it does, there's a good chance it's been artificially injected with water or sodium or other things to increase its weight and increase its size. So look for a little bit smaller chicken breasts. Sometimes they're labeled organic, natural, cage-free, something like that. There's all sorts of different names. Nutritionally, they're probably about the same, but I think the smaller ones, typically labeled natural, taste a lot better. So look for that when you are purchasing your chicken breast. The first step in this chicken process will be to trim the chicken breasts. I've already done that. I've placed them into a Ziploc bag, and from here I'm going to pound them flat so that they're a uniform thickness. Very important that the chicken breast is the exact same size all the way through so that it cooks evenly. If we have that small end and the large end, one side is going to finish much earlier than the other, and a lot of times we're going to have overcooked for half of the chicken breast and maybe undercooked or just perfectly done on the other side. We want that entire chicken breast to be cooked perfectly. So we're going to pound that chicken breast into a uniform size using either a mallet or, like I said earlier, a big, strong, heavy pan can work as well. I've already pounded these flat, but I'll continue the demonstration for the video. Sometimes it takes some force. You certainly don't want to hit it so hard that the fibers start spreading apart, but we want to mash it down into a nice flat shape. So again, you can use the hammer for that, or you can hammer it with your pan. Just be careful, you don't want to break the bag and get chicken stuff everywhere. So watch out for that as well. Once you flatten your chicken, you're going to take that chicken breast and set it down on either a cutting board or a plate. Make sure you establish a chicken hand. My left hand is my chicken hand. I don't want to be touching the chicken all sorts of places with both hands. I want to have that chicken hand established. From here, I'm going to start by drying the surface of the chicken. This is going to allow for a better sear. When we think about the pan's heat, that heat will go first into evaporating surface water, right? So we're going to dry that up with a paper towel. We don't want that surface water there. We want all the energy going directly into the sear. So press off any excess water that's on top. Make sure you get both sides of the chicken breast nice and dry. And again, use your chicken hand for this. Once your chicken has been dried off, we're going to season it with salt and pepper. Again, I like kosher salt. It allows you to see how much you're seasoning a little bit easier and also provides a nice texture later on when we develop the sear. We have our chicken seasoned. Now I'm going to preheat the oven. I preheated it to 400 degrees. You could probably do 350 to 450, anywhere within there is going to be fine. The rack is set up right in the middle, and now I'm going to start preheating my cast iron pan for the searing process. So I'm going to preheat my pan over medium-high heat. I'm also going to add a little bit of olive oil. I just want to make sure I can cover the entire pan with that amount of oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this olive oil until it starts to smoke. With chicken, it doesn't require a super high temperature, so we're going to use olive oil which has a little bit lower smoke point. As soon as it starts to smoke a little bit, the chicken is going to be ready to go on to that pan. So again, when is hot enough? You should be able to see small bits of smoke. It's hard to see on the video, but we do have a little bit of smoke coming off of this pan right now. That's when the pan is ready to go. We're going to go ahead and set the chicken down. The pan is smoking. We're going to set the chicken on there. When you're placing the chicken down, always lay it away from you so you do not splash yourself with oil. You should hear that sizzle right away. I think my pan's a little too hot, so I'm going to turn it down just a tiny bit. We're going to go for about 5 to 7 minutes on one side, and then we'll flip over and hit the other. As we're letting the chicken sear, we're not going to touch it. It will be ready to move when it's ready to move. Again, it takes about 4 to 7 minutes. It depends on how hot your pan is. It's going to take a little bit of trial and error to figure out the right spot. If you have a lot of smoke coming off, it is probably a little bit too hot, and make sure you turn that dial down just a little bit. Again, somewhere between medium and medium high on most ranges or stove tops. When your chicken is ready to flip, it should easily move in that pan. You can shake it around and get a little bit of movement. If it does not move, you might need to use a spatula or something else to pry it out without removing the sear. We're going to simply flip the chicken breast. And then very simply, we're going to place that chicken into the oven on the middle rack. So when we know the chicken is done, it's probably going to take between 2 and 7 minutes. It depends on many things, the size of the chicken breast, how many chicken breasts, the heat of your pan, the heat of your oven, so many different things there. The chicken is going to be done when it is done. I would highly recommend investing in a digital thermometer to get kind of an instant read temp on that. I want to pull this chicken when it's at about 160 degrees. It is going to continue to cook. There's some carryover cook time there, and it will reach the safe temp of 165. If you pull the chicken at 165 degrees, it's likely going to continue to raise up to a too high and too dry temperature. So we want to avoid that. I would check your temp after the first 2 to 3 minutes, make sure everything's under control, and then you can go from there, checking every 1 to 2 minutes or as needed. So guys, it's been about 4 minutes. I'm going to pull the chicken. I'm going to temp it in the thickest part of the chicken breast because that's what we need to be done. You guys can see that. 160, we're good to go. I've moved my chicken breast to a cutting board, a different cutting board than what I had the raw chicken breast on. That is number 1 for safety. I'm going to let it rest for 3 to 4 minutes. During that time, I'm going to warm up some rice, I'm going to warm up some peas, and that will complete my meal. And there we have it, guys, an 8-ounce chicken breast, cooked perfectly, juicy, but a crisp skin. It's exactly how you want it done. In terms of cutting it, I don't think you can be too picky. Just cut it however you'd like, big, small, whatever it is. Like I said, I'm gonna have this with a bit of rice and peas. If you're really gonna go fancy, you could get some parsley on there and make it perfect for Instagram. That is it for my chicken breast demo. Again, very simple, olive oil, salt, and pepper, utilizing a paper towel, a hot pan, and the oven to get a nice crispy skin on your chicken breast, but also having it cooked perfectly on the inside. We want it to be juicy and tasty. It is a very good, high quality protein option, and if we cook it the right way, it can be very enjoyable. Again, I'm pairing it up with 1 cup of rice, too many peas, and that's gonna be my meal for tonight. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.